Political economist and author of influential book The End of History and the Last Man, Francis Fukuyama recently touched down in Rangoon, where he spoke to DVB ahead of his speech Building a Democratic State. The author and senior fellow at Stanford University discussed some of the issues facing Burma as the country heads into general elections in November, widely touted to be a period of historic reform for the nation.
Well, I think the most important thing that Burma needs is some institutions, and I think it needs to prepare for the moment after the political system opens up to forces that have been outside the government up till now. I think there have been many failed transitions to democracy, and part of the reason that they failed is that groups that start in civil society and then enter government really don't know how to govern. To govern, you need several things. You need a policy agenda, especially with regard to the economy. That's really the key thing, because if you get good economic growth, you will get legitimacy. People will appreciate the fact that you're creating jobs and new opportunities and so forth. But you also need to do basic things that all governments need to do, like provide basic services: electricity, water, health care, good education. And this is something that's very difficult, and this is why I think the process of building a democratic state is really one that takes a long time. Well, I think that one thing that needs to happen is people have to be a little bit patient. If you look at Burma compared to other countries that have tried to make democratic transitions, what's happening here is happening very, very quickly. I think that people's expectations tend to leap ahead of the reality and the possibilities, but I think it is quite remarkable that, you actually have a parliament that for the first time actually has, real powers compared to the period when the military was in control of everything. I think you need, in order to make it functional, you need political parties that will actually develop coherent programs and be able to execute on them. But that's something that is only going to happen with elections and the opportunity for the real exercise of power. Well, I think it's really important to get economic policy. I mean, this country could grow very rapidly with enough foreign investment. It's a very poor country on its own, but if you can attract the right foreign investment, I think you could have a takeoff in the economy. In order to do that, you need strong property rights, you need to have a legal system that functions, you need a banking system to facilitate transactions. I don't think you need a big state, that tries to do too many things, but you need a basic rule of law. And a rule of law is something that, it takes a lot of investment to get there. Well, I think corruption is a big problem in all governments, and I think in the economy it's important, in a way competition can help, because people that are crony capitalists are only rich because the government is protecting them, and I think with more competition, it'll turn out that they're actually not such good businessmen. Well, the simplest way I can put my point is Burma is on the cusp of a change in which democratic forces could actually come to power here with your election. And those democratic forces have to be ready to govern. You don't end the struggle if you win an election. The struggle only begins at that point, and at that point a new government is going to be asked to actually govern and exercise power. So you need policies and you need to be able to implement. That's really the key.